So character, I use 10 characters, but I am given the value only one character. So that, let's say I got 90 bytes. Since I have given size as 10, but even though I used one character, one size space instead of the 10. So one size means character of 10 means nothing. It stores 10 characters. In that, each character will occupy 1 byte. So that's just the reason it occupies 10 bytes. Out of 10 bytes, the size is now 10 bytes, but I'm using only one A characters to store. So A character means only one character. So it uses only 1 byte. So 9 bytes are not being used. Even though it is not being used, but still that space will be occupied. No other one can access the space. So let's say you got 90 bytes, so the leftover space will be 80 bytes. When you use a varchar, let's say I got 90 bytes space. I have given varchar of 10. Then I stored only one character, that is 1 byte, and you got 9 bytes free. Then it will not assume, even though you are given 10 bytes, it will not have that, it not block the 10 byte space. Whatever the space you used, it will be allocated. Other space will be, it can be used by others. So that now the space, free space you will be having is at 89 bytes. Okay, instead of the above. So that's the reason nowadays, whatever the data type you create here in the characters, you will always use a varchar data type. Okay, this is a kind of, yeah, the way character, varchar, nvarchar, and you'll have different types of text and other stuff. I'm going to show it in the browser, in my like I'm having my mythisnews.com website, right there. You can see the data types. I'm going to explain end of this. It will be in detail. Next, if I want to see something different, like so this is the data types. Okay, next I want to store some date data types. Then in order to store the date, you'll also give there are different types of date. You have the date. If you, date means you can only store like year 2013 dash 01 dash 01. If I want to store date and time, then I give date time. Date time is nothing but 2013 dash 01 dash 01. Along with that, you will also have time. Let's say it's 2 o'clock 02 dot 2 o'clock 15 minutes 606 seconds. Then you'll have the milliseconds here. Then you got the date time too. It is advanced to date. It will have the same, but you'll have the milliseconds in 6 decimals. Here you'll have the same as date format. But you'll have the 3 different things. That's it. Okay, like that. You got many other stuff. You got that like date, date time 2. Along, if you might be knowing, right, like UST standards, like Greenwich mean in time, something like that. Like that also you have different format for the dates. Okay, like if you want to have something called like whether it's how to say, it's a +5 to the Greenwich median time or something like that, then you'll use a separate call date time offset. Okay, you have a separate process called date time offset. And if you don't want to have anything with the milliseconds, you just want to only have date, time, minutes and seconds, then you'll give it as a small date time. The data type is nothing but small date time something. Okay, the it's a small date time. So that's the way you will be using the date types. If you want to store some, and this is the regarding the date. Next you have something called others. I said others, right? Others is nothing but if you want to store something like images, if you want to store some documents, if you want to store images, then always you will use a data type called var binary. Always you will use a data type called var binary. It's the best effective way. If you want to store any images or other thing, you can store everything in the var binary data type. Apart from that, you will have one more called bytes. Okay, or binary data type. I'll call it as binary, or I think, yeah, they'll call it as binary data types. Yeah, binary, 0 and 1s, binary. Binary is nothing but whenever you want to have some column which stores only 0 and 1s, then you can give the data type as binary. Okay. So now I am going to create an example for each data type. Create a table. Or else I will store in a different window. Create table. I'll name the table as test data types. And I'll store the table in a SQL class. Okay. Then what I'll do, I'll give different types of data types. I'll create integer as tiny int. Next, I'll store, sorry, integer not, it's ID, sorry, ID1 as tiny int. Next, I'll give ID2 as integer. I'll give ID3 as varchar of 10. Then I'll give something called date1 as date. Next, I'll give as date2 as date time. Okay, I'll give these data types. Now I'll insert values into this table. So what I'll do, insert into table name is test dt values. I'll give different data types, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So first one, what I'll give as ID1 1. Next date I'll give 2013-01-01. This one also I'll give 2013-01-01. Okay, this is value. So here one more thing you need to see. Okay, if I want to store data, like if the size which I declared is more, okay, because integer occupies less size than the character, means character occupies more size than the integers. Now here, if I want to store the integer into the character, yes, it will store, because integer occupies less space, character occupies more space. You are trying to insert the less space into the more space, it will accept. But when you try to insert the character into the integer, it will not accept, because character is a more space, integer is a less space. So when you try to insert the value of the character into integer, it less space, so it will not accept. Like, so this conversions will be called as implicit and explicit. If the system converts itself, like if you are trying to store the data of a bigger size in the smaller size, the system tried to convert, it's unable to convert, so it will throw an error. You have to manually convert it by using some functions. If the system doesn't, like if you are inserting integer into the character column, yes, because character is a more size one, integer less size, so it will able to insert. So it is nothing but system itself converts the data and it will insert that. That is nothing but the implicit conversion. So here the same way, date time is nothing but it is a more data type. It will also have time, seconds and other stuff, but you are just passing only the date. You are not passing the time. So when you don't pass it, what happens? Let's see. I'll insert it. The records got inserted. I'll select start from test dt. Now I'll execute it. Even though I have not inserted time, the system will automatically insert time as 000 by default. Okay, it was unable to convert it. It was unable to convert it. Now the same values, what I'll do, I'll give the same values, but because second one is a month, right? I'll try to give the month as 13. What happens? Let's see. See, because the system will, when system tries to insert, it will also validate that. Second one is a month. Month cannot have more than it should not be more than 12. So you are giving 13. So it is a fail, right? So that was system does internally. It tries to convert first, since it can't get converted because month will be only having 12 months, but you are giving 30 months, so it is a failure. So that's the reason it will not insert and you will not have the data. Now when you see, I'll not at all have the data in my table. See, it has only the existing record. Same with the tiny int. As I said, tiny int can store up to 255 characters, not more than that. When I store that, I'm changing this to 12. When I give the 255, yes, it will insert. Now if I give the 256, to just 256 number, it will not throw here. Because tinyInt only stores the value from 0 to 255. Even though if you give one integer more than that, it will not store. You got my point, right? Hello? So this is nothing but the integer, that's it. The same way other integers works. So for more details, you can go to the mydesinews.com where you'll have that integers in detail. Okay? Just if you have the high level description, I think that will be fine. Data types. See, you'll have all the different types of data types here. Okay? The range you can see, integer stores this range to this range, 4 bytes. tinyInt stores this range. Small int is 2 bytes, so it stores this one. Okay? Like that. Based on the stuff, it will store in different, like everything has its own limitations. So accordingly, it will store. You can see all it categorized in different types, so you can see them. Binary data types, you'll have it here. You'll have the other data types. Okay, like that. So now we are good with the data types. If you have any question, let me know. So everyone is good with the data types? So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, so we are good with the data types. I'm going to cover a different topic. In the SQL Server, okay, if you want to write some query, always the query should run in some format. Okay, whenever you write some query, the query should be written in such a way that the SQL Server should be able to understand that. And always you should write in order. You will have the query will have certain steps. Each steps comes under, like it will be in the order. You can't move the top one to the bottom and like bottom one to the top. You can't do that. So that's what we are going to see it now here. Before doing that, in order to cover that one, I want to have some aggregate functions. Okay, I want to show some aggregate function is nothing but I'll see some data where we have a correct data for the sales or something. Or else I'll show you the data here only. So this is my requirement. Okay. So what is my requirement is that I have a table. The table name is anything. Then I have the ID. I have the amount. I am having the amount and date. Or else I'll have the month and I'll have the amount. ID 101, 101, 101 is having month 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then ID there is a 102, 102, 102, 102. 102 is having month 1, 2, 4, 5. Or else 1, 2, 3, 4, same months. ID 1 is having 10, 20, 30, 40. But ID 102 is having 5, 10, 15, 20. Now what my requirement is that I want to have an output where I should have the ID 101. I should have the total amount. So this should be my output. 101, what is the total here? 40, 70, 80, 90, 100. So 101 got 100. What is the total for 102? 20, 30, 50. Okay. 50 is the total for 102. So this is the output I want. Okay. This is at the ID level. Okay. If you want to do certain aggregations, then what I'll do here, I'll use some simple example. I think that will be good. Okay. My requirement is this okay. Just ignore the previous one. I'll just add the company ID. I'll have the year. I'll have the quarter semesters. Okay, then I'll have the amount. So ID 101 for 2010, semester is 1, it has $2,000. Next 101 for semester 2000, for year 2010, semester 2, it has 1500. Next same 101 for 2011. Okay, then for 2011 1 2, it has for like 500, it has 800. Next 102 102 102 102, 2010 2010 2011 2011, 1212, 500, 600, 900, 1200. This is the way I have. Okay, now what is my requirement is that I want to get the data in two ways. One, I want the company ID, I want the year, and the total amount for that entire year. So company ID 1, year 2010. So whatever the amount I have for 2010, I want to sum it up. So the amount is nothing but 2000, 3500. The same thing 101 for 2011. It has 8 plus 5. So it is nothing but the 12. Sorry, 13. 1300. Same with the 102. What is the total amount you have for 102? 102 for 2010 and 102 for 2011. So entire 2010, the amount you add it is 1100. And this is 2100. Okay. This is the one level I want. Other level I want is that I don't want here. Just I want at the entire company level. So the total at sum for the company level entire 101 is that I need to sum it up all. When I do the sum it up, the amount will be 4800. And for 102, I need to sum it up all. When I do this, it is nothing but 3200. Okay, this is the levels I want to sum the amount. In order to do this in the SQL Server, you can do by using the aggregate functions. You can do the sum by using the aggregate functions. Okay. So what I'll do is that I'll just stop the video.